Well, they need to be acquainted with the contract, preferably, although that's not essential, but it's advisable that they've at least seen the contract, perhaps even taken it to their solicitor to get a little bit of advice on it. They also need to have the capacity to pay the deposit at auction. Usually that's 10%. They need to be able to do that, need to be able to be successful at the auction, and if they are successful, they can immediately sign the contract and pay that deposit. They need to register at residential property or rural land anywhere in New South Wales at auction. They've got to register to do so, needing, in that instance, to bring their driver's licence or proper form of identification. But importantly, they need to bring with them the capacity to pay the deposit. You get situations where people turn up at auction, yes, they want a bid, what about paying the deposit? Oh, well, I can give you that next week. Well, no, that's not good enough. You need to have the capacity to pay that deposit immediately at the end of the auction. People become emotionally involved, competitively and emotionally involved. So all you need is two parties who are going to fight over a property, and you can see a movement above reserve, well above reserve in some instances. And again, this is something I think that that we just say we're fortunate to have that achievement for the vendor, but we again have to be a little bit careful about how we promote that result. But yes, it's an emotional thing. You've got people competing against each other to do so. You're not going to get that in private treaty, or certainly not face to face. So at least with auction, you've got people face to face. You know, Mrs. Phipps can see the other buyer, John Smith, across in the same yard or in the same room, competing against them. So therefore, they've got to try and do it to secure the property for themselves. Very much a lot of emotion. Does not have the first right, because you can't create a right in law over property, except by deed. And deed is an actually executed document. So there's no first right of refusal. There's no first right of a buyer because they're the highest bidder to have the first bite of the cherry, if you like. They've got to stand in line with the balance of the community. Anyone can buy the property. I've had situations where, I even had one situation where we passed the property in, we were negotiating with the highest bidder, because that's where we got to, negotiating with the highest bidder. Someone came up and said, excuse me, I want to buy this property, I'll make such and such a bid, and obviously it was above what the highest bidder had offered, and the highest bidder said, well, hang on, you can't do that, you're negotiating with me. Sorry, you can sell it to the highest bidder. The person after the auction who wishes to pay the most price. Decision. It's a decisive point at which a property is sold. That's the major decision. In other words, there's no cooling off period, the deal is done on the spot. That's probably the primary and the all-encompassing reason. Allows people to get on with their lives, to do other things. They may be looking at buying, securing another property, and they've already found that other property, and their decision to get their property to auction allows them to make a decisive move on the other property. There's quite a number of reasons for it, but that's probably the major reason. The decision process, the decision is made, it's finished, it's done with, there's no backing out, there's no cooling off period. A cooling off period is really, I think, I'm trying to think back on why they brought it in the first place. I think it was to do with buying blocks of land in coastal areas outside of Sydney, where they'd advertise them on the radio, they'd take you in a plane, fly up, all expenses paid in terms of flight, get you to a property, big acreage property somewhere, say, right now, here's a lot here, you can have that today, here's sign the contract straight away. Many properties were sold without ever the people knowing initially they'd never be able to build on it, things like that. So it in effect, it cut out that difficulty with auction, with private sale, but it became all-encompassing. In other words, that cooling off period suddenly was involved with all residential property, and so consequently people were suddenly saddled with a cooling off period, and I don't think people like it. I think people want to get on with their lives. They want a sale made, finished and done with. We've sold our property today, that's it, rather than these 0.25%, I think it is, deposits made and 5 working days cooling off periods. It's just bizarre.